I've worked almost 5 years on this project. Finally, the deck is complete and I have a prototype, meaning the first deck ever printed. So the box is fairly simple, a bit minimalistic, just with the logo. I think I will keep it like that. I like minimalistic. Okay, let's open it. So here are the cards. So I got 2 stacks here, which are wrapped with plastics. The first reason why I made this tarot deck is because I wanted to design a tarot deck that is true to the symbolism of age and wisdom, but has a more realistic feel to it. The cards that have been done in the Middle Ages or the early 20th century, you can see the artists at work and they have flaws which pulls you out of the meditation. But as I proceeded with the project, I also found that there could be done something about the titles. For example, especially for the titles of the minor trumps. This one is the 9 of Cups. Everybody knows this is the 9 of Cups. So there is a missed opportunity to give the card a title that has a divinatory meaning. By, in this case, creative energy. So if we put a title like this on the minor trumps, it's very easier for the tarot reader to explain the meaning of the card to a querent. I mean, it's already a little bit self-evident. Also, it will be much more easy for people who have no experience in doing tarot readings to do self-divination. Otherwise, in order to do self-divination, they would have to learn all the meanings of the tarot cards by heart first, and then do tarot readings for themselves. Now they can just use the titles and take it from there. So let's open the minors first and look through the stack. To open this. Let's have a look at each individual card. Yeah, the Spirit or the Fool turned out very nice. The Magician, or how I called it, Attention. The High Priestess, or Truth. So what I did is I put psychological meanings or psychological titles on the major arcana, because I believe that if you want to do a true tarot reading, it needs to be psychological. I know most people use tarot cards to try to foretell the future. I don't think that's the original purpose of tarot reading. The original purpose of tarot reading is that we find the weaknesses or inner demons of the querent that then cause externally for her adversity or resistance. So these cards are really designed for psychological tarot readings. Okay, so generation, then we have reason, intuition, the connection to connection to the higher self. Then relationships. This card does not only denote the relationship between two lovers, but all sorts of relationships. So with this broader title, this card can be also used in other contexts. The influence card, suggestion, also turned out very nice, and attainment. The 9th tarot card, usually called the Hermit. Okay, this is the back side. I don't know why this is blank. Maybe there's an error. Oh yeah, I think the 10th is missing. The 10th tarot card is missing. Okay, so karma, then reversal. I think I will give this card another title. I will call it sacrifice, because in a spiritual context it denotes the crucifixion, which is the mother of all sacrifices. 12, this is transformation. Death. Usually this card has the title Death, which is a blind. This card doesn't show death at all. In fact, it shows immortality. The white skeleton, that's our soul, which transmigrates along its string of incarnations, that's the river, towards the rising sun, which symbolizes Tifereth and illumination or enlightenment. And tests and trials. The green chalice stands for Netzach, the orange chalice stands for Hod, and the red flowing water between the two stands for the exciting intelligence, which connects the two on the tree of life. The card Devil, I also removed the blind and retitled it to Adversity. Of course, there is no devil, and in fact there is no evil in this world. The only thing that we have to deal with is adversity. And I added a little wink to the creature to show that this creature, which is made out of a goat head, a human torso with male and female breasts, bat wings and eagle legs, is an illusion. Yeah. And we have the disillusionment card and revelation. This card turned out very nice, I believe. Subconsciousness. Life. I'm struggling with the title here a little bit, but the sun is like the animating principle in life and brings forth life. So I think the title is most fitting in a psychological context. I also almost titled it Happiness. That's the feeling that comes with this tarot card. Just think of when you were a child and you were playing happily with your friends on a sunny day. You know, that's unconditional happiness and the feeling that comes with it. Then the card Realization. And last but not least, the World, traditionally called the World, which I return to Skill. Okay, let's have a look at the minors. Here's the Ace of Wands, which I call Cosmic Intention. Then we have Ideation, Context, that's Bina in Atziluth, Grace. On the Tree of Life, there the outer pillars, there are the pillars of grace or severity. Grace meaning that there are certain things in the world that guide us, protect us, and bring us forward. Okay, then Law, which is Gebura on the other side. So this is grace, this is severity, which stands mostly for law. How things work and how things don't work. Then the sixth Sephira stands for Tifereth and self-consciousness. So the principle of that is empathy, our ability to feel with others and put ourselves in other people's shoes. The seventh of Wands and is motive, goal. Difference between motive and goal is motives come a little bit from the unconscious, and we don't really have fully conscious control over it. But when Hod becomes involved, or our self-conscious intellectual mind becomes involved, we turn motives into goals, which we then pursue strategically and consciously. Okay, vitality and inspiration. Here is the Ace of Cups, also turned out very nice. And then we go through the Sephiroth again, that's creative idea, contexting. Bina always provides the context or the soul of anything. Then potential, faith. So the faithful intelligence, that's part of Gebura. If we understand the laws or rules of a certain context and we act accordingly, we will have a strong faith in our undertaking, which is very different from belief. We believe in dogmas, but we have faith in actions, in our planned undertakings or actions. Decision, wish, which is then Netzach on the creative plane. Choice, okay. Let's see here. Creative energy, objective. Yeah, this is the Malkuth of the creative plane, is an objective. Okay, now we get to Yetzirah, or the intellectual level. That's venture. Oh, that title is pretty strong. Just see, hands holding a sword and venture. Okay, Shakma of the intellectual planes, the principles according to which we act. Bina, then understanding. On the intellectual level, Bina becomes understanding. The Chesed is truth. We have competence. That's the 5 of swords. If we understand the laws and rules according to which things work, yeah, that means competence. And evaluation. Evaluation is then Tifereth of the intellectual plane, where we evaluate our experience according to what they mean for us. Yeah. Then we have Epiphany, intelligence, that's Hod of the intellectual plane, industriousness. Okay, I think the sword arrangement looks pretty nice. And a plan, so the outcome of every intellectual activity is then a plan of action, which will be then executed on the bodily level or the physical plane. So the Ace of Pentacles is then execution, strategy, collaboration, which is then Bina of the physical plane, management, the best, this is Chesed on the physical plane, so the best management is benevolent, yeah, not strict, but benevolent. Adaptation, the adaptation to changing circumstances or laws. Then Tifereth on bodily level is then the ego. 7th of Asya is then management. Here we have qualification, productiveness, and presence. This still has a psychological meaning. So are we really present in the physical world? Are we really present, I don't know, at work? Are we really present in the family? Like that. That means that we are fully functioning on the physical plane. Here we come the court cards. So here's willful. So we have the wand cards, the cup cards, the sword cards, and the pentacles. All the wand cards stand for willful people, yeah, with strong intention. Okay, so we have an elder man, willful man of authority, a willful woman, could be young or old. Then a younger willful man, and the page, a willful youth, could be a male or female. Then we have an elder creative man, also passionate. Yeah, creative people are also passionate and charming, like that. And the same holds true for the Queen of Cups, a creative woman, very imaginative, alert, honest, or subtle. And then we have a creative, charming, imaginative younger man, and a youth, which could be again a boy or a girl. Then we come to intelligent people, or the 4 cards that represent intelligent people: an intelligent older man, an intelligent older woman or younger women, an intelligent younger man, and an intelligent youth. Mind that intelligent people are always a little bit prone to, because they are smart and witty, they're always prone to manipulation and bending or even breaking the rules. So that's why the sword cards mostly indicate conflicts with other people. Then we have people who are very practical and who care about material things. It doesn't need to necessarily mean they're materialistic, but they are practical and organized, and they get things done. So there's an older man, practical, patient, reliable older man, and the same for a woman, a younger man, and a practical youth. So here I also have two cards that show the Tree of Life on both sides. So here's the Tree of Life, the single Tree of Life, with the prime meanings that relate to the wand cards, showing also the tarot cards on the path. And here is a card with the Tree of Life in the 4 worlds, or on the 4 levels of human expression. That shows the wand cards, the cup cards, the placing of the cup cards, sword cards, and pentacles on the Sephiroth. All right, here it is, and I still have a bit of work to do, I think, but I think soon this deck will be available. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Enlightenment Tarot and maybe already discovered a couple of inspirations from these cards. So please help to spread the light with a like and a share. And don't forget to subscribe. Love and light.